Survive and advance. That is exactly what this time of year is all about. It's a one-game season. They talk about it during the preseason, they talk about it during the regular season, and now we have arrived. Welcome aboard, everybody. They have made it through sectionals. Time now for district semifinal action as we welcome you to the Dog Pound. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller as we are getting set for Division IV girls basketball, the Ayersville Pilots and the Montpelier Locomotives. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. The Pilots enter tonight's contest at 23-1. They are the number 2 seed in this bracket. Again, they ran the table in the GMC, 7-0, good for a regular season title. The Locomotives, pretty good basketball themselves, 16-6 overall, 9-1. They play in the Buckeye Border Conference. But the first time these two teams met, it really wasn't even a close ball game. As a matter of fact, nobody scored in double figures for the Locos as the Pilots ran away with it by a final of 37-24. Scoop, we're going to hear from head coach Tim Nicely. We're going to hear from our player profile, the 6'1 center. She's going to Ohio Northern to play volleyball, but right now she's in a Pilots basketball uniform, and Taylor Craft put on a clinic against Edgerton. We believe she had a triple-double, not just points, not just rebounds, but blocks. She is a force to be reckoned with in the middle.
Well, she's just incredible. And talk about that Ayersville defense. They come in holding teams on average under 30 points per contest, and Taylor Craft a big reason why. Not only does she lead the entire area in shot blocks, but she also does such a great job in changing shots, forcing tough shots, and maybe taking away that inside game that a lot of teams really depend on. So she's been stellar. She had maybe a career best game the other night in that sectional championship
And they
win.
needed it because they were down 5 at the half to Edgerton. Coach Tim Nicely came up and said, basically, we have not played a worse 16 minutes of basketball this year. And that was his message to his team. Get out there. Get after it, and what we saw was defense turned into offense. That is how Ayersville wins ball games.
Well, you're right. The response at halftime was certainly something that Coach Nicely had to be really impressed with, the fact that Ayersville's had their way so many times this season. They have not had to play comfy behind basketball, but boy, when the stage was set there, Edgerton played so well. They rose to the occasion that second half, but again, it was all spearheaded by that tenacious defense.
When you take a look at these two teams as far as style goes, Ayersville wants a slowed down, half-court, physical defensive ball game. It's not necessarily that the Locomotives, that's going to be a mouthful. Folks, no disrespect, but they're going to be the Locos come tip-off. They don't necessarily want an 80-point ball game, but you and I were sitting down and having a long conversation with Coach Mike Bum, now in his 5th season at the helm, and he was just flat out honest. He said, if we don't score at least 40 points tonight, we're packing up our gear for another season.
Yeah, and Mike Bum knows as well as anybody that scoring 40 points against this Ayersville defense, it's certainly a tall task, but he understands that they're going to have to somehow find a way to attack the rim, get those points, and again, it can't get into the 50s, but it also can't be one of those games where it's less than 30 points because Ayersville has too many gifted scorers. They're going to put some points on the board.
Without a player taller than 5'9", I think it's probably a safe guess you're not going to see a ton of offensive rebounds tonight. He just simply said, if we have an off night shooting, it's over. That's pretty blunt for a head coach.
Well, you're right, and he understands that, they're not going to out-athlete Ayersville. Ayersville's just incredibly lengthy. They run the floor, but he also understands that you don't have that type of margin of error, so you've got to do all little things. You've got to win the second chance points battle. You cannot turn the ball over in those live ball situations that end up being points at the other end. They're going to have to find a way to get some points from their defense. But again, the one thing that you can bank on Montpelier and Coach Mike Bum, his guys are going to be prepared, and they're going to battle for 32 minutes.
You just heard the buzzer sound on the first game here tonight at the Dog Pound, and no surprises, Crestview takes care of Stryker. They had a running clock late in this game, a final of 70-32. Now they will lay in wait. They will get the winner of tonight's contest. We're going to take a quick timeout. Earlier this week, had a chance to stop out at an Ayersville practice, talk with head coach Tim Nicely. Our player profile is 6'1 senior center Taylor Craft. Don't you go anywhere. We are back with more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports. Welcome back. The Ayersville Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. We're still about 20 minutes or so away from tip-off. They earned the right to wear the uniform one more time Saturday night, and you tip your cap to Edgerton. They came out and just flat out punched the Pilots straight in the mouth, and not just for a small stretch, for a full 16 minutes, a 5-point lead at the half. But when it was all said and done, they've hung their hat on defense all year, and that's exactly what won them that ball game. They've earned the right to play Montpelier. Coach Nicely joining us right now. Coach, review before we preview. What did you take? More specifically, what did the team take from Saturday night?
Well, I think you're right. Edgerton came out and then punched us right in the mouth and made a lot of shots. I mean, we couldn't throw it in the ocean first half. And, you always expect that as a coach, one of those nights is going to happen. And that first half did happen. And being only down 5, I think we had some confidence, positive vibes going into the locker room. And we just had to relax. And, our defense had been there all year. The Farnham girl, we held her to 10 total, especially the second half. We outscored them 29-10, and our defense just took over, and our kids just made things happen.
You talk about making things happen. There was a stretch of, I think, back-to-back plays where Allie Schindler, from her knees, strips the point guard, gets a fast break going. She had 2 of those. Then all of a sudden, Kendra Waldron is a filling in the open court, and you could just slowly start to see the body language for Edgerton's kids start to change. Yeah. Not that you lay off the pedal, but when did you have a sense of any particular point where things swung to your favor in that game?
I think halfway through the third, when we got within 1 point or up by 1, and I felt a lot more comfortable. We shot way too many threes, and we're not a three-point shooting team. And I thought we settled down, got some good looks inside. Once they went to man, that helped us a little bit. Our kids just responded, and I thought they played very well in the second half.
Let's go ahead and preview tonight's opponent, Montpelier, coming into this one. Again, different conference, Buckeye Border Conference. Mm-hmm. Good teams. Yeah. I don't think quite the depth from top to bottom as obviously the GMC is, but no strangers. You played them. Break them down for us.
I was there for 6 years coaching, and just a great community and great people there. I enjoyed my 6 years tenure there, and they got some nice players. Mike Bum, the coach's daughter, Kelsey, and then the Aribi's girl, Jada. Those 2 are like the spoon that stirs the coffee. And, we held them in check last game, and I think that's one of our focuses we got to do again. And I think we'll be in good shape on Thursday night. So.
Now, you've been a little cagey so far through the first couple games, showing the 1-3-1, mixing some other stuff up. Do you anticipate a wrinkle tonight, or are you going to go straight man-to-man, at least to start?
We'll probably go straight man. I don't think we're going to change anything. As of right now, it's a little bit early, but you never know what'll come up our sleeve and decide what we want to do.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, you don't ever want to play poker with this guy because he is slick. With that said, they play some good defense themselves. As a matter of fact, I did the averages. I had to break out the calculator, but they force 12 to 13 steals, not just turnovers. We're talking straight steals. You anticipate them getting in your jersey tonight?
Well, yeah, they'll play straight up. If they play us a lot man, they played some zone. We got to take care of the basketball, just like in practice this week. We had a stretch here. We had a couple turnovers, and get on the baseline. We got to run, and we can't have silly, unforced turnovers this time of the year. And we had way too many against Edgerton, so we got to keep it. If we stay under 12, I think we'll be in good shape.
It's one thing on the fast break, and you will never penalize a kid for making an aggressive mistake. But you mentioned it really during the last couple of post games. The ball seemingly stuck a little bit. And granted, you credit Edgerton coming out in that box and one. Yeah. But what's the key, no matter whether you're facing a man or a zone, to keep that ball moving and eventually get the breakdown?
Yeah, I think, in offense, I think we stood a little bit too much Saturday. And we settled for three-point shots instead of penetrating and make things happen. And then when they made their first, 4 or 5 shots, it stunned us a little bit. But like I say, we have a lot of good athletes, and then once our defense clicked into motion, then we were in good shape after that. So
You mentioned the defense. I finally got to call Belle McGuire as Juice Saturday night. Now, when you go to that zone, she kind of hangs on the wings, and I joked with her. She's like, I didn't hear Juice, which leads me to believe one of two things. Number one, Mabel, you are watching the broadcast, and we greatly appreciate that. But number two, she, again, just has a junkyard dog quality to her, doesn't it? I mean, put her on the best, and you know that she's going to disrupt things.
Well, she had 3 older brothers, and they probably had
beat
to
her
fight for the food, I think, or something. But I always said I put Mabel up against anybody, and she might not. She's going to win that battle probably 95% of the time. Once in a while, the other person might just be able to, get over the top of her and stuff like that. And I think she did a good job against the Farnham girl, but I thought at halftime we wanted to switch Allie up on her. And Mabel and those guys did a good job. We held her to 5 points first half, 5 points second half. So as a team, a unit, I thought we played very well.
One last one here, and it's more about the psyche of this team right now. You got an easy win opening round, which you thought would probably happen.
Yes.
You got a big push in the second round.
Yeah.
Now you're out of sectionals.
Yeah.
Where is this team mentally right now as far as just staying even-keeled?
Well, I think Allie Schindler hit it the best. We got unfinished business, and we got to get to Saturday. And I think our kids know that we're a good basketball team, and Montpelier's a good basketball team, but we got to bring our A game, not our B-, C+ game like we did the first half. We just got to play that A game for 4 quarters, and then we'll be fine.
We promise Scoop and I will bring our A game up in the booth, so we'll do our
Thanks,
part.
guys.
Good luck to you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
That is Coach Nicely. We're going to take a quick timeout. Our player profile was the Queen Bee Saturday night. Rarely at a loss for words, but I think we maybe got her match. Taylor Craft will be our player profile when we come back. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on DCTV Sports. Welcome back. The Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. You can hear the balls bouncing as we are on the heels of the Ayersville girls basketball practice. They won Saturday night. They got punched in the mouth and had to respond, but they earned the right to wear the uniform one more time. So here we are on a Thursday night as they're taking on Montpelier, looking to earn the right to wear the uniform on Saturday. Our player profile, she owned it Saturday night. Taylor Craft, 6'1" senior center. We had you for darn near a triple-double. Do you know how many blocks you had?
I'm not sure, honestly.
You never count, do
No.
you? You had a double-double for points and rebounds, and if you didn't get to double-figure blocks, you were very, very close. I want to rewind before we look ahead. Is that okay?
Yep.
You are a multi-sport athlete. You're actually going to be playing at the next level, Division III Ohio Northern volleyball, but you missed everything last year with a knee injury. So I'm not trying to open up an old wound, but what did you learn about yourself? How tough was that to have to watch all year long and not participate in anything?
Yeah, so it was obviously tough. Like my initial injury, it sucks not being able to do something you love with your friends. But, I still went to all the practices. I was there at all the games, supporting everyone. And, coming back from an injury, it really shows you how much you, miss the sport and you miss just playing with everybody. And I'm so grateful for, the opportunity to play again and to play with all my friends.
What motivated you during that time? What was your rehab like?
My rehab was pretty good. I loved my physical therapist. Her name is Jen. She's from DPT. Shout out. But, I don't know. It went over pretty well, and I recovered pretty fast. I got cleared in 6 months, I think, and I played club volleyball in the spring. And, yeah, it was pretty.
When did you realize, or at least get the feeling, that you were back to 100%?
During club volleyball, it's obviously hard. Right when I got back into the swing of things, I wasn't my normal self. I expected to come back and be, hitting like I was when I got hurt. And then, during the middle of the season, I, saw my potential, and I was okay, I'm back. It's me. I got it.
All right. Volleyball, Division III,
Yep.
Ohio Northern. When did you decide that was the sport you wanted to play, and when did you decide Ohio Northern was the place you wanted to play?
Yeah, so I went on a lot of visits for Division III volleyball. I went to Muskingum, Otterbein, and I met Coach Sophie actually at a Tiffin camp, and she's the head coach at Ohio Northern. And I just loved her. She's so nice, and she's so personable. And she kind of reminds me of Alicia, which is our club coach. And so after I met her and I saw the campus, I just knew that that was the place for me.
This team, obviously, with 4 seniors on it, has tremendous chemistry. I don't want to say how long did it take you to develop that, but can you remember a time when things just clicked and you all kind of looked at each other and thought, yeah, we could be pretty good?
I can't remember like a specific time that we all clicked, but we've been playing together since like 5th and 6th grade, and we're all so close. Like, we all go out to eat and stuff together. We all we hang out together, and like there's no bad blood on the team. We all just love each other, and that's why our chemistry on the court is showing.
What were you working on to get better? Having missed last season, coming into this year, almost all the time I talk to players, I'm like, yeah, coach wanted me to get better at blank or improve this. But with you having missed it, what were you challenging yourself to do?
Yeah, really, I wasn't specifically working on basketball skills to get better. More so, like, for volleyball, we were working on, like, lifting and just getting stronger in general. And I think at physical therapy, I also was working on that. Like, optimal performance came in for our volleyball and really helped me get stronger and really helped our team just, like, learn the basics of lifting.
Student athlete. You have to crack a book. You have to stay eligible. There's no way a Division III coach is going to offer you a scholarship if you can't make the grades. What is your grade point average?
It's like a 4. I think my cumulative is like a 4.3, but that's also with like college classes and everything.
So you're taking accelerated classes then. So are you a member of National Honor Society, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
How important is that to you?
It's really important. I mean, it helps me like connect with my community, and it actually is really fun to go out to like different organizations and see like people working. Like, we went to the fire department for like a chili cook-off, and like you see like the firemen there and like all the communities there, and it's so fun.
Montpelier, you played them once earlier this year. You took care of business. What do you need to do the second time around? What do you need to do tonight?
We obviously just need to focus on our strengths, and we need to know that just coming in, just because we beat them once doesn't mean we can beat them again. I mean, it's tournament time. Everyone's out for blood. And I think if we just work together and stick to the fundamentals, it'll be a good game.
You tip your cap to Edgerton. They came out and punched you guys straight in the mouth, and you were trailing. You were down by 5 at the half. What lesson did the team learn from that?
Yeah. So it obviously hurt us that they were in a boxing one with Allie. I mean, she's one of our lead scorers, and she's so athletic. She's so good. And we went into the locker room, and we were just like, we just need to calm down. I feel like they made a couple shots at the beginning, and we were down by like maybe 7, I think. And we were freaking out because we're never in that situation, and we were like, oh my gosh, if we lose this game, it's just over with. We went in the locker room and we discussed like our defense needs to be better. We need to like pick it up. And then we came out here, and I think we really showed like how we can come back in a game.
I know Coach talks about the most important game being the next one on the schedule, but when I interviewed Allie a couple weeks ago, she said unfinished business. You guys didn't get as far as you wanted to last season. Do you guys openly talk about your goals, or is it just stay focused on the next game?
Oh, I mean, he says that, but we obviously want to beat them. I mean, they beat us last year, and I obviously wasn't playing, but the game was a close game, and I feel like to get another shot at them would be like, I don't know, it would just be so like refreshing. And even if we don't win that game, I still think it would be like a good game, and
A couple months from now, you're going to be styling, cap and gown, diploma in hand, strutting across the stage. We know you're going to Ohio Northern to continue your volleyball career. If I come back and do an interview with Taylor Craft in 10, 15 years from now, what are you going to be doing?
So I'm going to be majoring in pharmacy, and it was just like a spur of the moment, like, oh, I wonder what I want to do when I get older. And then it was like education, and then I was like, oh, pharmacy. And then I went for an interview at Ohio Northern, and I really liked the professors there. And so I haven't really job shadowed anyone there yet, but I like anyone in the field. But I still think that like getting there, I'll enjoy it. And like I think I might shadow someone like next week or something for pharmacy. But I'm excited to go there, and I think it'll be a good time.
Kind of piggybacking on my last question, what do you want your legacy to be? Let me preface it by saying this, because watching the pregame when the starting lineups are introduced here, the lights are down, the spot's going, and I watch all those grade school kids. You are almost idolized. You were that little girl once. Now that you're here, what do you want people to say about you 10, 20 years from now?
I mean, obviously, I want them to like look up to me, and I want to be a role model to them, not only like on the court, but like as a person. And I want to be known as like admirable to like little kids, just because they deserve that. Like, they're little kids, and they should know that like playing sports is a privilege. They're all so cute.
We're not going to graduate you too soon. Most important game coming up next on the docket. That's take care of Montpelier, right?
Yep.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Our player profile is Taylor Kraft. We're going to take a quick timeout. We are back with the Baker Schindler Company starting lineups right after this. You're watching the pregame brought to you by Estill Chevrolet Cadillac on DCTV Sports. Back at the Dog Pound, we are 11 minutes away from tipping this one off. It is a Division IV girls district semifinal matchup. Both these teams winning. As a matter of fact, the higher seed, the second-seeded Pilots, elected to play the opening game, and they dispatched of Hicksville in proper fashion. Trailed by 5 against Edgerton just a couple of nights ago at the half, but showed arguably the best defense of the entire season en route to the come-from-behind victory, one that Coach Tim Nicely said they needed, 43-29. The Pilots enter tonight's contest at 23-1 overall, 7-0 in the GMC, and winners earlier this season over this same Montpelier squad by a score of 37-24. Let's take a look at your Baker Schindler Company starting lineups. Again, our starting lineups courtesy of Baker Schindler Company. First for the visiting Montpelier Lady Locomotives. They are 16-6 overall, 9-1 in the Buckeye Border Conference. They also a regular season champion, and they don't go very deep, so they are going to have to get production out of these starting 5. Head coach Mike Bum in his 5th season at the helm will put the following onto the floor. At point guard, it will be Kelsey Bum, the 5'3" junior. She averages 11 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per ball game. At the off guard, it will be Aaliyah Hilliard. Hilliard, a 5'3" junior. Hilliard entering tonight's contest, averaging 5 points, 2.5 rebounds per contest. Mira McGee will be your swing. McGee, a 5'7" senior. McGee's numbers on the season, 4 points, 3.5 boards per game. Zoe Uribas, look out, ladies and gentlemen. She is the straw that stirs the drink. 12.5 points, 5 rebounds per contest. She also is averaging 2.5 assists. She was held to just 6 points in that first meeting. And then down low, Madeline Hopper. She is not an offensive threat, but she sets screens. She's very active, and she will get in your jersey. Madeline Hopper, a 5'6" junior, averaging 2 points, 3.5 assists, and 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists per ball game. Your Baker Schindler Company starting lineups for the 23-1 and second-seeded Ayersville Pilots. The usual suspects. At the point, it will be the feisty Mabel McGuire, 5'6" and a senior. Without question, the best defender. One of, if not the most physical player on this roster. Kirsten Mannon, the 5'8" senior, will be at the off guard. We should tell you, McGuire averages 4 points per game, 1.5 rebounds, nearly 2 assists, also nearly 2 steals per contest. Mannon, 7.5 points per game, 3 rebounds per contest. At the swing will be the only underclassman on the roster, the 5'6" sophomore, and the fastest player on this team, Kendra Waldron, 8 points, 2.5 rebounds. She also gets in your jersey and plays some D. She averages 1.7 steals per contest. At the 4, even though you'll see her bring the ball up against pressure, she does just about everything. Allie Schindler. Schindler, the 5'10" senior, she is headed to Kent State, going to try and walk on the track team. She averages just over 13 points, 5.5 boards, an eyelash under 3 assists, and just over 3 steals per contest. Scoop, she is the true definition of the all-around player.
She really is. You know, she's a 2-time first-team Green Meadows Conference player. You know, just has so much athleticism she brings to the table, and she's such a weapon at both ends. Will certainly be on Montpelier's radar all night long here this evening.
In the middle, she was our player profile, the 6'1" future Ohio Northern volleyball player, but she's still in an Ayersville basketball uniform for at least one more game. Taylor Kraft, 6.5 points, 12 rebounds, and just an eyelash under 5 blocks per contest. And Scoop, you and I had a chance to talk with Mike Bum in the stands before they headed to the locker room. I asked him, how do you prepare for that? And he said, we can't. He goes, the easiest and best, most effective way to neutralize her rebounding ability is don't miss. They've got to shoot well tonight.
Yeah, no question about it. And Coach Mike Baum, he's done such a great job in his 5 seasons at Montpelier. This is the team that had won 1 conference championship, 1 sectional championship in 45 years of women's basketball. And in his 5 seasons, he now has 4 Buckeye Border Conference championships. This is the second time they've been to the districts under his tenure. So this is the team that's going to be ready to go, trying to take that next step in Montpelier basketball.
There's a good look at the Pilots coming out of the locker room. There's still 6 minutes to go, but they are antsy, as are the Locomotives. They're coming out as well. Both teams should get plenty warmed up before this one officially tips off. Those are your starting lineups, courtesy of Baker Schindler Company. We're going to take another quick timeout. Back with more of the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. Welcome back to the Dog Pound, Defiance High School. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller as the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show continues. Just under 4 minutes before we tip this one off. It is a girls Division IV district semifinal. 23-1 Ayersville taking on 16-6, and again Montpelier. Our officiating crew for this evening, they're lining up nicely for us at half court. They will be led by a pretty seasoned group. Zach Grosjean, Abby Moore, she's the easy one to pick out there. And then to your far right, it's Jeremy Teege. And Scoop, you are familiar with all 3 of these, and we've got a pretty good crew here this evening.
We really do. You know, these 3 will work the game. That's what I love about it. You know, sometimes people just show up, but we've got great officials here in Northwest Ohio. These 3 will work the game. They've got great experience. And back in the day, they were pretty good athletes as well.
Any stories, backstories, side stories you care to share, or you want to keep mum on things?
Well, I'll just say this. The best one down there is blonde and good looking.
Wow, nothing. You know what? I'm going to leave that one alone. I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole. You saw a good look there. Is a nice frame-up job of Tim Nicely. This guy has stories in every gym we walk into, ladies and gentlemen. I think the statute of limitations is expired on some of yours, so you could tell them without worrying say maybe incarceration. But just the same, if we can get a sponsor, maybe the county sheriff, say for example, we can go ahead and sit down and let you just spin a yarn.
Well, what's scary tonight, I've seen 10 different officials here tonight. Now, 3 were in the first game, granted, but 3 here. But I've also seen 4 either walking through the crowd or sitting down. They didn't all bring back great memories, though, in my recollection.
I will draw the curtain of charity on that story right there, because my guess is the stories will start to turn afoul. And the last thing we want to do, and you take a look at the officiating crew there again. In all honesty, Scoop, with about 2 minutes here, there's going to be a serious officiating shortage. The Ohio High School Athletic Association has put out a report, I think about 2 years ago, and it is starting to sink in, not just at the smaller school level, but the larger school level and even some of the smaller colleges. If you want to stay involved in the game in some way, shape, or form, becoming an official would be an excellent way to do it because they are needed.
It really is, and you can't have the games without these officials. So these guys and girls deserve so much credit, and that's the one thing as a coach I always try to encourage my players to give a little back, and I'm proud to say that 2 of these 3 officials working this game tonight were former players and students. So
fantastic.
Great to see these guys still doing what they love, giving back to the communities and to these kids.
So your tree stretches beyond just the coaching ranks.
Excellent.
Try to. 1 minute left to go. You can tell these teams are amped up. They came out with over 6 minutes left to go to warm up. The energy maybe hopefully has been honed a little bit here. You don't want to lose it, but this is where the psychology of the game comes into play. As a coach, how do you make sure the nerves stay keeled up, you don't get too anxious or too amped up, and kind of waste some of that before you actually tip things off?
Well, you just try to not reinvent the wheel, Go with what got you here. We've been working on this stuff from day one. You guys have played great. So right now, go out there, enjoy the rewards of all this hard work you put in. Enjoy the crowd here, take in the moment, but go out there and compete like you've done from day one. And I think both these teams are going to do that tonight. This will be an entertaining matchup here this evening.
There you get a good look at the Locos as they are lining up on their end of the court. We will have the national anthem. It will be brought to you by the Defiance Elks Lodge, number 147. Pilots will be the home team. They are out in their whites with those powder blue uniforms, and maybe we won't have it. Both teams were lining up expecting a national anthem, but since this is the second of a doubleheader, we know Jerry Beauty runs things as efficiently as anybody in the entire state, so we will not have a national anthem, but our thanks still going out to the Defiance Elks Lodge 147 for helping underwrite it all season long. We've given you the starting lineups. We can tell you, if you tuned in a little bit late to the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show, Crestview was a big winner over Stryker by nearly 40 points. I believe it was 72-34 if I wasn't mistaken. But no surprise there. The winner will get Crestview, and they will get them Saturday right back here at the Dog Pound.
Yeah, and right now, everybody's expecting that Ayersville-Crestview matchup on Saturday. 2 teams that have been ranked in the top 10 of the state most of the season. But Montpelier, they've got other thoughts,
Yep.
This is the second time they've been to the district in the last 4 years. They have to believe that they want to take that next step, try to get to a district championship game. They're going to have their work cut out, but they're going to give their best shot here. Both these teams very well coached, very well prepared. Both these teams known for playing hard for 32 minutes.
Well, again, as we mentioned, coming from behind, down 5 at the half a couple of nights ago, Ayersville just put together a tremendous defensive performance in the last 16 minutes, and they took it right to Edgerton, where the final of 43-29. That was their second game. Also, a couple nights ago, Montpelier taking care of Antwerp, and that was a game where they got a little bit of payback as they lost to the Archers in their only regular season meeting, 46-40, but they kept the defense up themselves, a 35-31 winner. So both these teams can get in your jersey, Scoop.
They really can, and that's what it's going to take. If you want to win championship, it's got to start the defensive end. And also, I think you should mention, Brent, the fact that both these teams really are playing their best basketball. Montpelier coming in on a 5-game winning streak, their longest of the season. And, of course, Ayersville, 10 consecutive wins after their only loss against Kalida, maybe about 5 weeks or so back. So both these teams really playing their best basketball. And as we all know, that road to Dayton, each step gets a little bit more difficult. And certainly when you get to the district, there's going to be quality teams from here on out.
You see the non-starters being introduced, now the starters. And Coach Nicely, if you didn't catch the pregame during the Estill Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show, he just simply said this team has been built to do what they've done so far. These 4 seniors have been playing since they were in 6th grade. And then you mix in a tremendously athletic sophomore in Kendra Waldron. That mantle, or baton, I guess I should say, will be passed to her next year. Likewise to Lainey Sheets, Ariel Brown. But right now, 4 seniors in this Ayersville lineup that make sure they want to play at least one more ball game. And you can say the same thing on the other side for Montpelier. A little bit of a younger lineup, though, as we are getting set for the F&M Bank opening tip-off. As the Pilots win it. And we'll see how things start. Coming out in what looks to be a man-to-man defense. Oh, pick and roll, and they miss Kraft, and there's the first turnover of the ball game. Bum going coast to coast, lays it up and in. Defense into offense, and the Locos draw first blood.
Well, Kelsey Bum, she's a second-team All-Buckeye Border Conference performer. Scores north of 11 points a game, leads the team in assists, second in steals. Comes up with 2 points there after a great defensive play, getting into that passing zone.
On the drive, a little bit of a hot pass. Mannon was there, but a little strong. Nice job by Belle McGuire with the rebound. They'll reset. Schindler on the drive, getting forced off the block. They go right back down low to her. She's going to draw a ton of dark jerseys tonight. Kraft at the free throw line. They're coming out on her a little bit more, and that's a heads-up play to try and back her down. She gets swatted. Normally she does that to the opposition. Mannon puts up an 18-footer, is off the mark. Loose ball. Finally, the rebound goes to the Locos. Good transition defense by Ayersville. 5 white jerseys getting back. Just outside the arc, McGee into the paint, running one-hander. It goes begging off the side. An offensive board, nothing doing, and Kraft can't come down with this one. Is the third time a charm? No! And finally, Mannon secures it with 2 hands. Boy, you can't get any better looks.
No, tremendous job that time by Montpelier, really attacking the glass. That's a huge concern for Coach Bum, you know, with the length and size of Ayersville. Are we going to be able to rebound? So far, they're off to a fantastic start in that department.
Waldron was posting up. She had Bum on her hip, but they elect not to go down low. Kraft will pop out. That's a dangerous lob pass down low to McGuire, and it's off her fingertips, and that'll be the second turnover in 3 possessions.
Well, credit Kelsey Bum. You know, she's only 5'3". She's locked in there trying to front the low post there, but she did a great job of sustaining contact, playing physical. And when you do that, you're not able to jump like you normally would. That ball ends up going out of bounds. So the second turnover here by the Pilots.
Bum being dogged by McGuire. They're going to switch on a screen, and they're continuing to switch 1 through 4, and they got gummed up, and that's an easy drive and layup for Hilliard.
Tremendous job by Aaliyah Hilliard, the junior. I'm not sure how easy that is, Brent. When you go after Taylor Kraft, you use the left hand. Nice soft touch off the window. Great start here for the Locos.
Waldron moving east to west, now trying to get down low, almost lost the basketball. Schindler, who has yet to get a shot off tonight. She averages 13. They're going to lob it down low to Kraft. Beautiful behind the back pass, and nice job by Kirsten Mannon. We've talked about this multiple times, Scoop. She moves so well without the basketball. She's always in the right position.
Yeah, that was a tremendous play, and credit to Kraft as well. She knew where she was relocating to, gave her a good dish.
Boy, Baum got a good look from 3, halfway down and spits out. Here's a rare fast break opportunity. Waldron is a speedster, tries to hit the trailing Mannon, and it's through her fingertips. Another turnover. Pilots hustling to get back. Low-scoring game so far. Baum really being dogged by McGuire. Athlete on athlete. Kicking it out to the far side. Jada Uribas dribbling into the corner and then right back out. Bounce pass into the high blocks. This is Madeline Hopper, and she throws this one to assistant coach Jason Nicely. He has no eligibility, so he'll have to give it up.
Well, that's the first time I've seen Jason Nicely give it up. He's usually going to take that shot even from the sideline.
Jason, I'll let him talk to you after the game. So a turnover, which is what Ayersville's used to doing to others, but still trailing by a basket here, 4-2. Tempo seems to be a little slower probably than both teams would like. Is this just kind of a feeling out process right now?
And, right now you got a district game here. The nerves are still up here a little bit. Neither team really wants to make mistakes, but when you do that, that's how you make more mistakes. You come out a little bit tentative. So both teams need to just relax a little bit, get into their half-court sets, and look for those opportunities in transition when they present themselves.
McGuire with a beautiful baseline drive, but throws it into traffic. It's out of bounds, and Ayersville draws a break. Laney Sheets, do want to mention, checked in at that last stoppage of play on the turnover, first substitution for the Pilots. Locomotives don't go very deep at all, no more than 2. The inbounds pass, and I'm not sure if anybody was ready for it. Stolen away by Hilliard. Up the court, and whoa! Normally it's Taylor Kraft throwing block parties, but this time Sheets gets back and sends it into the stands.
Tremendous play that time by Laney Sheets. At that time, the Locals had numbers. They were looking at 2-1, trying to get an easy run out. But Sheets, the human eraser.
Whoa, and instead of popping, cutting back door was Brianna Friend, and that ball goes right into the stands.
Yeah, that time, little miscommunication there by Montpelier, and a break for Ayersville, as that's the second Locomotive turnover of this opening quarter.
We're over halfway through this first quarter, and just 3 baskets combined for both teams. Kraft in the middle of the paint. Didn't quite come up with it, but kicks it out. They're going to lob it, backdoor cut, Schindler. Kraft muscles up. She'll head to the free throw line. The first foul by either team comes almost 5 minutes into this ball game.
Well, typically, the further you get in the tournament, the less whistles you're going to have. So you have to really play physical. You have to play strong. There's going to be a lot more contact. But now Kraft will get a pair from the line. First one off the back of the iron, so it remains a 4-2 Montpelier advantage nearly 5 minutes in.
She is a 50% free throw shooter. We'll see if she can make good on that season average this time and pull her team to within 1. And she cannot. Coming out to double team, and now they got to hustle to get back. Although look at that, Montpelier elected not to push the tempo. So they will set up in their half-court offense. And look at that, almost a steal, a definite steal. Here comes Allie Schindler, coast to coast, and the game is tied.
That's huge. Anytime you get points for your defense, we've seen Schindler do that so many times. She's such a good defender, and that leads to another Locomotive turnover. As that time, Uribe's bringing the ball up the floor, not their true point guard. And that time, she saw the pressure coming, got a little bit too antsy. And that'll be the third Montpelier turnover of this opening
Tell you
quarter.
what, though, credit Ariel Brown. She cheated just enough that I think that got into Uribe's head.
It definitely did. That was what really caused that sense of urgency that she really didn't have to have there. But again, credit these teams. We knew they were going to come with their best defense.
Oh, bullet pass down low, trying to put the ball on the floor as it last touched by the defense. And it looks like Ayersville draws a break as Kirsten Mannon thought that ball was off of her. It was not. So we've got a substitution checking out Bria Friend.
Right now, Montpelier doing what they need to do. They're really collapsing down low. They're going to have to double anytime that ball goes to the low post on Schindler or Kraft.
Schindler to Kraft down low. The layup just a bit short. Quick outlet, and here's a rare fast break opportunity. Does Bum want it? She does not. She'll back it out. Still in a man-to-man defense. Kraft coming out. Uribe's on the drive. Check that. That is Hopper. And no, that was Jada Uribe's, and she gets the wraparound layup.
Oh, that's just a sweet move. That time she got just a quarter of her step, but she kept going to the rack. A nice reverse there with the right hand off the window. That ends a 4-0 Ayersville run. That's gone back to the last 5 minutes.
Just 10 points so far between both teams. 90 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Ball is sticking right now. Coach Nicely trying to shout out the instructions as to how to attack it. Number 14 off the drive is probably a good idea. They work it right side, triple threat position. Sheets comes off the screen. Oh, she had the lane and didn't take it. Schindler tries to split a double team. I tell you what, the help defense, at least in the early going, for the Locomotives has been exceptional.
Yeah, it really has. They've also done a great job of really being physical, bodying up. That time they tried to reroute Schindler away from the basket. And Ayersville catches the break as that went off the Locos. But this is going to be the 5th turnover of the opening quarter for the Pilots.
Well, they've been playing with fire, trying to lob that pass out near half court. Largely credit, again, the Locomotives defense because nothing inside the arc has been there. But there's got to be an adjustment you can make if you're Ayersville.
Well, it is. You know, typically you want to try to get those lob passes inside where you got the advantage. But we mentioned how Montpelier really doing a great job collapsing, trying to invite that lob pass away. And that time it pays off as the Pilots turn it over.
Double screen, wave off the basket as an extra hop step by Jada Uribe is a travel.
Yeah, that's an excellent call. Unfortunately for Montpelier, that's going to negate that nice-looking three by Jada Uribe. Instead, Ayersville now with a chance to tie.
Oh, here comes Schindler. Hard drive, maybe a little contact, but she misses everything. At the other end, Bum. There's a rare fast break opportunity, but the pass is just outside the reach of McGee. And another turnover. I will wait and let you sling ink in another 43.5 seconds, but uncharacteristic by both teams, a high turnover game so far.
And again, you know, that's a part of getting to the districts here. You know, neither of these teams have really been a tournament-known team where they're at the district year in, year out. So you still have a little bit of nerves going through. A lot of these girls trying to do a little bit too much right now. I look for both teams to settle in here shortly.
Schindler from the elbow. That might have been partially blocked. And look at Bum walk the tightrope on the baseline.
Well, she's only 5'3", but she's one of the top rebounders for the Locomotives at north of 4 a game.
Long three at the other end, misses everything. And I apologize. I think that was 2 instead of 3. Bum and Caroline Dick both look like they could be sisters. And I think it was Dick that made the save. Bum misses the air ball, and it looks like she might be catching a break in the final 5 seconds of the first quarter.
Yeah, right now, if you're Montpelier, you have to make sure this ball gets thrown in right where it is, force Schindler to take most of the clock.
Boy, she's not attacking. Kraft will launch a half-court shot. It would have gone had it fallen, but instead, 6-4 our score at the end of 1. Defensive-oriented, low-scoring ball game. Second 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock. We'll take this first Insurance Group timeout. We're back to the Dog Pound right after this. You're watching DCTV Sports. There you get a good look at the Montpelier huddle. Buzzer sounds in a very low-scoring first quarter. They are technically the visitors, and the Locomotives, they're just going to be the Locos for the rest of the game, folks. My apologies. A 2-point lead at 6-4. Time for a quick look at your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. Not a lot in the way of points. 2 points for Kirsten Mannon, 2 points for Allie Schindler. That is it for the Pilots. A deuce apiece for Kelsey Bum, Aaliyah Hilliard, and Jada Uribe. Scoop, I know you've got turnovers, and you were kept busy. How many miscues for both teams?
Well, both teams turned it over 5 times. The 5 Montpelier turnovers didn't result in 2 points for Ayersville at the other end. And meanwhile, the 5 Ayersville turnovers resulted in 4 points for the Locomotives. So most of the points in this first quarter, in fact, 6 out of 10, result of very good defense.
On the drive down the middle of the paint, we have a late whistle, but a foul. Take your pick on Ayersville, as that was Lila Mahan on the drive, and she will head to the charity stripe. And the foul is going to be charged to Allie Schindler, her first. Mahan to the stripe. First is up and rattles it home. Lila Mahan, a 63% free throw shooter. She'll get another. She does not score a ton, Scoop, so you got to figure anything out of her is going to be gravy tonight. And she hits 1 of 2, and Ayersville almost out-hustled, stepping out of bounds, unable to save it. But Madeline Hopper showing the same grip that we've seen in the first 8 minutes for the Locos.
Yeah, both these teams battle for every rebound. And the rebounds in the first quarter, Brent, Montpelier actually out-rebounded the Pilots 8-4. So that's something that has to change here for the Pilots. A big reason they were really held off the scoreboard. No second chance points, really no easy looks inside. And credit Montpelier with that aggressive man-to-man defense for shutting down the opening 8 minutes.
Schindler in the high blocks, dribbled out, going to the baseline, and a nice running one-hander by Lainey Sheets. She's in the books, and we are now looking at a 1-point ball game.
Well, that's a sweet move there by the southpaw, and again, that sometimes it catches you off guard. You're not expecting that left-hander, and that quick first step, a beautiful mid-range jumper from the baseline.
Pilots still staying in the man-to-man defense. It's a little bit more sagging. It's not quite in your jersey right now. Stutter step, beautiful move by McGee, and she finishes. Wow, great jab step to cross the defense up.
They're so fundamentally sound, and at that time McGee just made an excellent play. Got the shooter's touch there. Nice job of pulling up, not trying to go too far and force a tough shot.
They lob it into the low blocks. Kraft leans in, throws it up high. She knew it was off. She hits the deck, and they play on. Wow, very physical in the early going here. Spotting up for three. Baum wide open and off the mark. But again, Hopper showing some quick hops into the paint. Just seems like the loose balls right now in the early going are bouncing Montpelier's way, and Coach Baum may be wanting to say, let's get a little bit more settled. 6 minutes left to go in the first half. It's a 3-point advantage for the Locomotives over the second seed. Ayersville Pilots will take a quick First Insurance Group timeout. We're back with more girls Division IV district semifinal action on DCTV Sports. Exactly 2 minutes into the second quarter, we welcome you back to the Dog Pound. Girls Division IV district semifinal playoff action. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller saying thanks for joining us on DCTV as Lainey Sheets jumps the passing route on the break. Low pass. Waldron hits a trailing Schindler. She can't handle it. Ayersville saves it. Mabel McGuire off the Waldron on the drive. It's short. Boy, neither team in a rhythm right now, and are we going to have a late foul? I think frustration. If that's Taylor Kraft, that's going to be, looks like her first.
Right now, Montpelier's been scrappy enough, physical enough that's really thrown Ayersville out of sync. Even on that transition game, they're not quite handling the basketball like they typically would.
Passes are
a
low.
lot of hot potato with the passes down low off to the right. Again, a lot of that's because of the tenacity of this Montpelier defense.
Score remains 9-6 as we come the other way. And there again, Lainey Sheets with another steal. This time, will she finish it herself? She does!
Well, that might spark the offense a little bit. The second time tonight that the Pilots have a steal and a run-out layup. And there's a wedgie.
Oh! What were the odds of that? Who had that in the pool? I believe Josh Bush did. Exactly at the 5:08 mark, too.
I'm waiting for official Abby Moore to jump up and get it.
But hey, we're going to have, is that Carter Michael? It is. Boys basketball player who, unfortunately, his prep career came to an end last night with a tough loss to Holgate. All right, 9-8. They have not led in this ball game. Ayersville with a chance to do so with a score this trip down the court. Schindler, high blocks on the drive. That's a tough angle. Count it, and one coming.
Excellent job that time by Ayersville. The last few times down, they're trying to get those posts up down low. They're not handling it well in the perimeter, but what they can do is try to seal their girl inside and then get that post touch. And once Schindler gets it, good luck. That time she makes a nice drop step move, and she converts the end one. And this is the first lead of the night
coming
for the Pilots.
At the 4:54 mark in the second half. Up by a deuce. Still a lot of ball left to be played. We'll see, though, if that spring steps the Pilots or if the Locomotives answer. Bum to the top of the key. Dick on the drive. 5-3 around 6-1. 6-1 wins that battle 9 out of 10 times. Kraft with the board. Quick outlet. That's a dangerous pass. Oh, what a pass. Waldron to Sheets, who will dribble it back out. And that's a heads-up move by Lainey Sheets.
It was. Don't try to force it. They attacked it.
I think that was a shot by Belle McGuire. She followed her shot, and she wears her heart on her sleeve. You could see the reaction there as she slaps her hands together. And then at the other end, things just moving a little fast. The Locomotives turn it over.
Yeah, certainly Coach Mike Baum's not happy the fact they've turned it over 8 times now. They've really had their struggles at the offensive end, but you have to really give like Mabel McGuire credit. She's done a great job of lockdown defense on Kelsey Bum. Remember, Kelsey Bum, she's a girl that can go off for 20 points at about any time, but she has not had a lot of looks, and when she's had it, she knows she has to rush the shot a little bit because the pressure is coming.
Well, McGuire and Waldron will both catch a breather on the bench. Schindler, nice feed down low. Nice job by Mannon to get the seal and the drop step for 2.
And once again, they attacked the low post there. I like what they're starting to do offensively here. And it's really spurted a run here that now is up to 7 straight points.
Bum on the drive, but she surrenders it. Skip pass to the far side, and this will be Uribe's. Dribble penetration into the paint. Nice dish to McGee, and she drains the 15-footer.
Well, I think that's something Coach Nice will live with. They're doing a great job of trying to limit Jada Uribe's and Kelsey Bum and forcing some of the others to step up
look
offensively.
At Schindler on the fast break, and a nice job to get position down low by Brown, and Coach Bum wants a timeout. Everybody's starting to get into the act now for Ayersville as they match their largest lead of the game at 15-11, 3:18 left to go first half. We'll take a quick timeout. You are watching Girls Division IV District Semifinals playoff action on DCTV Sports. There you get a good look at our score. Ayersville took their first lead of this ball game at the 4:54 mark. They have expanded it to 4, 15-11. Still plenty of time left to go in the first half as we welcome you back to the Dog Pound, Defiance High School Gymnasium. Brent Balbinot, Scoop Miller. District semifinal playoff action in Division IV here tonight. Winner will be back here at this very same venue on Saturday to take on top-seeded Crestview.
And Brent, these last couple minutes, this is the pace that Ayersville needs to get into. They want to try to find a way to get this game into the 50s.
Yep.
They want to try to control the tempo, not get caught in a half-court game. And wow, they're really clicking right now in transition.
I was going to say,
the low post.
The half-court defense looks a little sharper, just a step or two faster as well. Down low, nice look, and the kiss off the glass from Mira McGee. Give her 6.
Big time move there by McGee. She was well contended that time, but just made a nice little baby hook with the right hand off the glass. Good soft touch there.
Bounce pass on the baseline cut. Again, a little off. Sheets will back it out. Kraft, big center, will get it to Schindler, and they will reset their half-court offense.
And Brent, after Montpelier out-rebound Ayersville in the first 8 minutes, 8-4, the Locomotives just 1 rebound here in the first 6 minutes of quarter 2.
And that ball must have been partially blocked from our angle. I couldn't quite tell, but that definitely is the case.
Yeah, great job again by Montpelier. They're not allowing the Pilots to back them down in, under the net, into no man's land. They're being very physical, contesting shots in the paint.
Waldron back into the ball game. On the drive, that's where she's at her best, and she draws the contact. She is so strong. You look at her, Scoop, and you'd think that she is a fifth senior out there. She spends a lot of time in the weight room. And the thing is, and I would tell this to all young females, but especially as your freshmen, sophomores, maybe getting to become an upperclassman, you can be physically strong without being overly muscle bound. She is very cut, but you can see it doesn't affect her speed at all.
Yeah, as an opposing coach, she would really be a nightmare for me, Kendra Waldron, because she is so athletic. You talked about her physicality, but she's one of those blue-collar kids out there that's willing to do what it takes that's going to help the team. Those kids are dangerous, and there she makes a stellar play there, hits both ends.
Love her to death. Can't wait to see her pitch for the softball team this spring as there's a turnover. Again, that defense starting to pick up the physicality at the other end for Ayersville as they look to add to a 4-point lead with 95 seconds left to go in the half.
And right now, if you're Montpelier, you have to be careful. You've played very well here for most of this first half. You cannot afford to let Ayersville get separation. Remember, Ayersville only gives up about 28 points a game on the season.
Boy, Mannon had that just ripped right out of her hands by Mahan. Across the half-court mark. Locos trying to cut the deficit in half. Sheets cuts through a screen. They re-screen, and that's quick hands by Mannon. And that just saved an easy layup. Off another screen. McGee cut off in the middle of the paint. You get by one, and there's at least two, probably three other white jerseys right in your grill. Boy, look at Waldron playing physical defense about 23 feet out. Nice spin move on the drive, and I think this is going to be Mannon. Nope, it is going to be Lainey Sheets picking up her first. So from 1-11 to another, Lila Mahan heading back to the line where she's 1 for 2 tonight. First is up and rattles it home. We mentioned it earlier, a 63% free throw shooter.
And as a team, Montpelier is shooting just north of 61% on the season. But boy, these could be a couple big points here for the Locos to try to weather the storm, as Ayersville's really gone on a nice run here for the majority of the second quarter, but yet it's just a 2-point game.
Well, she hits both. She's 3 for 4 from the charity stripe tonight, and it does pull the Locos to within a basket. Under a minute now left to go in the half. Schindler will trot it right down the middle of the court. We'll see what the Pilots try and set up, more specifically who they try to set up. Waldron goes to set a screen. She loses the ball. And going to be knocked away from her. I might have inadvertently said Waldron. It was Mannon that was trying to set the screen. Sheets will inbound on the baseline. 27.5 ticks left to go. And here's where they've had problems tonight. Bounce pass into Schindler. She's stripped, and they turn it over. You just got to be boss with the basketball tonight.
Well, you know it's going to be physical. These officials done a great job being very consistent, letting the kids play.
And did she lose that ball off of her own fingertips? Looking back to get the play from Coach Bum, Lila Mahan just lost the basketball. And Ayersville gets a huge break.
Yeah, Coach Bum not happy, felt there was a lot of contact on that. But again, as we just mentioned, they're really letting that go. So you have to really play strong, value the basketball. A huge break for the Pilots. And now
look at the physicality here.
To get some momentum going in the locker room.
8 seconds. Sheets on the drive. Goes baseline. Cuts it back out. 5 seconds. Waldron moving east-west. Is she going to get a shot off? And do we have a whistle? Yes! Just before the buzzer. Well, you know Pilot fans love it. Locomotive fans don't. But credit Kendra Waldron for forcing a whistle one way or the other.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, such a special, gifted player. And then she has that X factor. She understands the time is imminent. I have to make a play. And she really did force the official to make a call there. Montpelier, Coach Bum, I'm sure not happy because he's saying, what do our kids have to do? You know, we were in possession. We were waiting for. But again, I thought Montpelier should have gave a foul there with about 3 or 4 seconds to go, force Ayersville to take it out of bounds. They still had a couple fouls to give, and there's a big free throw right there by Waldron.
Waldron's just a 44% free throw shooter on the season, and tonight she's 3 for 3.
Well,
can she go 4 for 4? Yes, she does!
You can't really coach that X factor. You know, some kids have it. She's certainly, like I said, one of those kids that does.
1/10 of a second put back up on the clock. How about ice water in number 4's veins, though? And the ball had to be inbound for formality's sake. Both teams will head to their respective locker rooms. Kendra Waldron with a little wind in the sails for the Pilots as they will take a 4-point advantage to the locker room, 19-15. We will take a First Insurance Group timeout. We are back with our Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. You're watching DCTV Sports. And we welcome you back to the Dog Pound Defiance High School Gymnasium. Brent Palmadon alongside Scoop Miller as we are at the intermission of this girls District 4 district semifinal matchup, seeing 23-1 Ayersville taking on 16-6 Montpelier. It's time now for your Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. And let's start with your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. I've got points and fouls. Scoop has rebounds and turnovers. And let's start with points. Right now, leading all players. How about this? Mira McGee with 6 points. She comes into this one, as a matter of fact, we'll tell you what she averages. McGee averages 4. She's already 2 above her average. As everybody's locked in, probably trying to watch us live on their phones, that is the Ayersville boys basketball team here to support the girls. But McGee has 6 points. Elsewhere, for the Locomotives, Kelsey Bum with 2. She averages nearly 12. Aaliyah Hilliard with a deuce. And then 3 off the bench for Bria Friend. Those all coming from the charity stripe. And Jada Uribes also with a basket early in this contest. Rounding it out for the Pilots. Off the bench, Lainey Sheets with a couple of nice baseline moves. She's got 4. Also 4 points for sophomore Kendra Waldron, all from the charity stripe. As a matter of fact, she drew the foul with 1/10 of a second left in the first half, and normally a 46% free throw shooter on the season. She's 4 for 4 from the stripe tonight. Rounding out the remaining scoring for Ayersville, we've got 4 points for Kirsten Mannon. Let's see, 5 points for Allie Schindler. She averages 13, and another deuce off the bench for Ariel Brown. Scoop, what do you have for turnovers and board work for both teams?
Well, in the opening half, Montpelier turned the basketball over 10 times, 5 in each quarter. That led to 6 points for Ayersville at the other end. Meanwhile, the Pilots had 8 first-half turnovers, 5 of those coming in the first quarter. That led to 6 Montpelier points at the other end. So both teams were able to capitalize off some pressure defense, converting turnovers to the offense. Rebounding-wise, we're dead even at 11 apiece. Remember, Montpelier had a 8-4 advantage after that opening quarter, but that second quarter kind of belongs to Ayersville. They also got a couple second chance opportunities, something they did not get the entire first quarter. So they really made some nice adjustments, did some really good things to get this 4-point halftime advantage.
So here's my question for you. Does the tempo, because we haven't really seen a true one, in my opinion, established through the first 2 quarters, does it favor either team, or right now is it just a wash at the half?
Well, I thought the first quarter really favored Montpelier, the fact that it was not a track meet. It was not coming down and trying to beat the shot clock. They got into the half court. And I think that's what Montpelier does, because let's face it, this Ayersville defense is so good, you're not going to put up 40, 50 points on these girls. There's not a chance. So what you have to do is keep this game near the 20s, into the 30s maybe, where you've got a chance to come out with an upset win. But I like how Ayersville was able to kind of push the envelope a little bit in that second quarter that led to that nice 11-2 run, forcing Coach Mike Baum to burn a timeout. And since that time, I thought Montpelier made some great adjustments. Both these coaches are going to make some good halftime adjustments. Don't go away. This thing is far from over.
That is your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. Speaking of adjustments, you don't need to make any if you choose to watch the game at Mancho's Lounge. Tacos, burritos, beer, maybe a cold margarita, maybe every single one of those. Conveniently located at the second roundabout, so I've been told. I was told first roundabout. Needless to say, that's a residential area. Take the second roundabout when you're coming. I blame Jeff on that one, but I followed the station van, so I knew I was headed to the right location. But just a tremendous job, and I will tell the entire staff out there, Tacos Al Pastor, absolutely fantastic. They air the games live. We appreciate their doing so. If you haven't been there, give them a try. Mancho's, again, Lounge. We have got 4 minutes before we resume play. 19-15. Second-seeded Ayersville with the lead. We'll take a quick timeout. We are back with more of the Midwest Community Federal Credit Union halftime show. You're watching DCTV Sports. And there you get a good look at the Ayersville Pilots coming out. With still plenty of time left to go before we resume second half play. Tim Nicely sending his charges out to get warm again. Still no sign of the Locomotives. Head coach Mike Baum and company going to take maybe a little bit more time in the locker room for instruction. Pep talk. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put your coaching hat on, Scoop. Let's start with the Pilots. And Coach Tim Nicely, what was your message to your team in the locker room?
Your message was to win the game inside. You know, you have to get post touches. We have to attack the teeth of that Montpelier defense. And then if we have to go inside out, then back in, we can. But again, Montpelier really collapsed it inside. They're daring Ayersville to shoot over the top. And I don't blame them. I like what Coach Bum has done there. But I think if you're Tim Nicely, the message has to be loud and clear. We've got to get second chance points. We've got to get post touches. We've got to get points in the paint.
Well, in a situation where I don't want to call them overplaying, but the Locos look like they are hedging high. Can you work a backdoor cut every now and then to your favor in that style of defense?
Well, certainly, especially against a very aggressive Montpelier team that's going to get into you. They're going to try to get a lot of ball pressure. They're going to try to get the passing lanes, try to take away that entry pass. And what that does, it opens up backdoor scenarios where you can slip screens. I think that's what Ayersville has to do. They just had, I thought, too many turnovers there. It limited their opportunities. They have to make sure they're getting a quality shot each time down the floor. They do that, they're going to be in good shape.
Flip side, if you're head coach Mike Baum, you're only down by 4. You're very much in this ball game, but what do you want to see adjustment-wise if you're the Locos?
Well, you got the message got to be, girls, you know, that was an aggressive first half, but we have to step it up a dial. Let's face it, I don't think either team's going to get in the penalty here as far as they're letting them play. So you really have to step up the physicality. Where Ayersville hurt us, I think the message from Coach Bum is going to be is down in the paint. They got too many touches inside. They got too many looks off the backboard inside. They got too many points from the foul line. We have to be physical. If we're going to foul, we have to do it on the entry pass or fight position, not trying to block the shot from 2 feet away.
Well, the score in the regular season was Pilots 37, Locomotives 24, and we're on pace for a very similar one here. I don't think it's going too far out on a limb. Mike Bum said if we allow them to score 40 or more, we probably will be packing up our gear. Right now, 19-15. I think it's a safe bet to say he's a prophet. First one to 40 wins tonight.
Well, no question. And remember, Ayersville, the last 14 games, 11 times, they've held teams under 30.
Yep.
So really, maybe that magic number for Ayersville is, hey, we just got to get to 30, ladies. But again, both these teams are going to battle. Both these teams, this is going to be a chess match in the second half. These coaches have been here. They've been around the mill here a little bit. And both these programs want to get to that district championship game to take on the Crestview Knights back here at the Dog Pound on Saturday night.
Final 15 seconds ticking off the scoreboard clock. Ball's put back in the cages. Same starting five that began the game for the Pilots: McGuire, Mannon, Waldron, Schindler, and Kraft. And it looks like it will be the same starting five that began the game for the Locomotives: Bum, Hilliard, McGee, Uribe, and Hopper. Locos will have the ball, opening things up. Still out in that man-to-man defense. Pilots really tightened things up in that second quarter on their way to a 4-point lead. Top of the key, this is Bum. They have kept her in check. She averages nearly 12 a game. She has 2 so far. Bullet pass right along the baseline. What a pump fake. What a shot. My goodness, that was Bum, correct?
That was Bum, and that was a great find by Hilliard. You know, she did a great job playing strong with the ball, making that cross-court pass.
Schindler posting up down low, a little short, crashing in is Kraft. High off the square. She was a little far behind the backboard for that one to fall. But look at Belle McGuire. She forces the turnover. Folks, she doesn't fill up the stat sheet, but she does so many things that won't make the highlight reel that every coach absolutely loves.
You know, you need that player that's just going to hang their hat on doing those types of things right there, being that lockdown defender. And I cannot tell you what a great job she's done on Kelsey Bum enough, because Kelsey Bum is a special player and it's been really good for a really long time.
Again, a low pass and bobbling the ball. Again, a little hot. Schindler can't handle this one, and we're back to the way we started this ball game. Everybody a little antsy, moving just a gear faster than probably they need to.
Yeah, and credit both these defenses. They're not making it very easy to get into a rhythm offensively. I mean, they're forcing the entry pass from way out here where we're seeing the ball right now. You know, it's one thing when you can make that initial pass from the elbow. It's another thing when you're out closer to the timeline.
Schindler on the drive, kicks it back out to Waldron. She will shoot the three every once in a while, along with Mannon. But this is not a three-point shooting team. McGuire lobs it. It's deflected down low, and, oh boy, the Pilots might have drawn a break there. And by the look of a guilty smile, Leah Hilliard looks like maybe she was the last one to touch it. McGuire, the trigger woman on the baseline. Schindler, pump fake on the drive. Nice crossover. Can't quite get the friendly roll. Follows her shot, though. Rips it out of there. Well, that's forced, and again, bobbled around. Kraft would be well served to get it to a guard here and reset their half-court offense. McGuire, does she want to drive? She does, but into her own teammate, Kraft. Kraft is stripped. Here comes Waldron. Hard down the left side of the lane. It's blocked. Mannon, did she step on the end line? No, they're going to say out of bounds. Wait a minute. It was tipped, and yes, it will remain Ayersville basketball. How many chances are the Pilots going to take before they finally can convert one here? Is this their fourth or fifth?
They've had numerous opportunities on this possession alone that really Schindler has come to life here in the offensive glass. And that's off the noggin, a little pinball. And
Lainey Sheets was setting a screen, and the ball goes off her head. Oh, my goodness.
If that happens in my gym class, we call that targeting, but instead, Montpelier's going to get the ball. Ayersville turns it over for the third time or second time this period.
Seriously, Montpelier drew a huge break there. Can they take advantage of it? A three at the other end is off the mark. And again, Hopper has just been so active down low. Nice post down low. Kraft thought she had all ball. The official thinks otherwise. And Kedra Waldron about to check back into the game for the Pilots. That will be Kraft's second.
And credit to Kelsey Bum. Normally, you take a shot on inside like that on Taylor Kraft, you're going to get swatted, but Bum, you can see, very intelligent basketball player out there. Did a great job protecting the basketball, drawing the contact. And there the junior connects on the first of two. She comes in shooting 70% from the stripe, something you probably expect from a coach's kid.
Certainly you want your point guard to be a good free throw shooter.
I'm not sure Coach Mike Bum shot 70% from the foul line in his career, but.
Uh-oh, lazy pass deflected, but here comes Ayersville, and is that going to be a foul, or is Coach Nicely calling a timeout? He's going to burn a timeout. 5:40 left to go. Hard to believe, just 4 points between both teams. They all belong to the Locomotives. They've tied this game up. 5:40 left to go, third quarter. We're back after this First Insurance Group timeout. You're watching DCTV Sports. Back at the dog pound, Allie Schindler on the drive, splits a double team and a nice pass inside to Taylor Kraft, the big 6'1" center with her first points of any kind tonight to retake the lead.
Well, that was textbook, and give Coach Tim Nicely a lot of credit. That was a great timeout, and the message was obvious. Ladies, we're attacking. Get the ball inside to our bigs.
Whoa! Off the glass.
What a big-time move with to the left side by Hilliard, who somehow gets that to go.
And look at the other end, picking up another gear. Allie Schindler now with her 7th point of the evening.
Well, that's what Ayersville has to do. You know, they have to get in this type of game. And that time, instead of hanging their heads after giving up the deuce, they get a transition bucket inside by Schindler.
23-21, under 5 left to go here, third period. It's been a very slow-moving, almost dragging first three and a half minutes. Oh, beautiful spin move by Uribe, and she gets a facial. We've got a quick fast break outlet opportunity. Waldron couldn't quite get squared. She saves it, and Johnny on the spot is Kraft at the top of the key. Waldron, does she want to drive? She does not. Waldron surrenders the basketball. Sheets thinking about it, the lefty into the lane, tight cornered bounce pass. Mannon will back it out. Sheets stopped, and in between a double team, she's fouled, and by the look of her reaction, I think it's going against Mahan.
Yeah, that's going to be on the shot, so great possession that time by the Pilots. Good patience. They looked to attack, nothing was there. They got into the half court, and then they attack the rack, they draw the contact. And now a chance to try to get a little separation here. The first of two up and in by Sheets. Boy, she's had a nice outing once again here tonight.
56% free throw shooter on the season. We'll see if she can't make 100 here. She has been the spark plug off the bench all season long.
Well, that's a luxury. You have somebody like Lainey Sheets that can not only come off the bench, but come off the bench and really increase the energy level on the floor. Get it done at both ends. She's had another stellar night here this evening.
Oh my, a foul out at half court. Schindler thought she had a clean strip. Instead, that will be foul number 2.
Yeah, and right now, you know, we talked about step up the physicality. I don't think either team's heading to the bonus anytime soon, but Schindler the last time down on that block shot, she came swatting down. Normally that's going to be an automatic call, but she had so much ball, they let it go. And the Ayersville Pilots turned it 2 at the other end.
Top of the key on the drive. Uribe was stripped from behind. That's going to be an open 3, and it's one and done. And guess who? Lainey Sheets with the board. Pilots trying to stretch a 3-point lead. Their largest, I believe, has been 4. Is that correct? Or was it more?
It was 6.
Okay. Sheets on the drive baseline. Guess where she's headed back to?
Well, that's big because you only get to the foul line when you're playing downhill, you're trying to attack the rim. And since that timeout, when we were tied at 19-19, Ayersville's had a different kind of mentality and DNA out there, so to speak, where they're really putting pressure on this Montpelier defense. And Montpelier now multiple times has fouled the Pilots on shooting attempts. And right now, Sheets trying to add
makes
to the
one
lead,
or two.
and she does. So that gets it back up to 4. right where we started things here in the second half.
Coming up on 3 minutes left to go in the quarter. Waldron swatting at the ball, caught a piece of it, but Hilliard being strong with it. Brown went for the steal, almost got a piece of it. And the defensive intensity looks like it's ratcheted up a notch or two now for Ayersville. Kraft hanging around in the middle of the paint. Nobody wants to challenge her.
Look at that closeout on Kelsey Bum. Just no space for her to square up and do what she does best, shoot the basketball.
They'll kick it back out up top. Dick reverses it. Waldron went for a steal, but again, good help defense. They'll kick it to the other side. Around the world it kicks out. Kraft with the board. Slow it down, get it to a guard. Good plan.
It's so important right now to keep Montpelier off the offensive glass, and Ayersville's done a great job of that here in the second half, and Tim Nicely is going to burn a full timeout.
We'll take one with him, a First Insurance Group timeout. 2:25 left to go third quarter. Ayersville 25, Montpelier 21. You are watching Girls District 4 District Semifinal action on DCTV Sports. Looking in on the Montpelier huddle. Ayersville, second seed, leading Montpelier 25-21. These two teams did meet once earlier in the regular season. Pilots took the victory 37-24. It's a one-game season now. A spot in the district finals on Saturday against top-seeded Crestview awaits the winner. 2:25 left to go third quarter. And if Ayersville does pull this one out, we will be back here on Saturday. But right now, a lot of ball left to be played, Scoop.
Oh, there is. In the last 3 games of this series have all been won by the Pilots. You have to go back to December 2020, the last time the Locomotives knocked off the Pilots, and that was in Montpelier at the rail yard.
Oh, nice slip by Waldron, and she got a little far underneath the backboard, and we've got a foul. Maybe a little frustration.
That's just a great play there by Schindler. You know, that time I thought Montpelier did a great job of bodying up, having some contact there to alter the shot, but then they got a nice rebound. But Schindler comes up like we've seen so many times this year, Brent, and is able to get a steal. And that steal now turns into points from the defense as she connects. Kraft makes that a 1
All
point.
smiles as she shoots. There's no arch to that free throw whatsoever. She looked over, and I think that wink was to Coach Tim Nicely. It's a 5-point lead, and look at the defense. Now, was it deflected? It was not. And Ayersville forces another turnover.
Now, 2 quick turnovers by the Locomotives, and Ayersville slowly getting a little separation here. Montpelier really needs to get a stop right here as we're under the 2-minute mark of this third quarter. The Locos trailing by 5.
Schindler running the point. Sheets right back to Schindler. She's going to back down the smaller guard, and she lost the ball again. Scoop, what's the point here? We have not seen this from Ayersville all season long. What is Montpelier doing that's basically just causing separation from the basketball and pretty much anybody in a white uniform right now?
Well, the focus for Montpelier defense has been so much inside. I do not remember Ayersville taking a 3-point attempt here tonight, so they've done a great job packing in. But also remember, Brent, when you've got a lot of seniors playing in a tournament game, a lot of times you start thinking, could this be my last game? And you can't play that way. Boy, there's a good dribble drive and a finish by Mira McGee, who was honorable mention all Buckeye Border Conference, and that's huge. That gets us back to a 1-possession game.
Waldron on the drive. She's pushed out, and again, bad pass. Sheets wasn't ready, and Tim Nicely at the end of the bench there, arms folded, and he is not happy. That body language says it all, and he's talking to anybody that will listen right now. This is completely out of character for Ayersville.
Well, it is. Remember, this is the 25th game of the season. This is not something that Coach Nicely has had a front row seat of in a long time. You know, these girls have played lights out all season.
Mannon thought she had a tie ball. Instead, we keep playing on. Long three off the heel of the iron. Weak side rebound. Woo! And a little contact there, but Sheets will bring it up the court.
That's a tremendous backside rebound by Sheets. She did a great job of not just getting position, but then improving it by checking out, getting a body on someone.
McGuire on the drive. She is stripped from her knees. Kraft, she is stripped. Out of bounds. Is Montpelier just that quick? Is the ball level for Ayersville maybe a little low? What can you attribute this to?
Well, I really think it's a lot of things, but more so it's Montpelier out there just scrapping. You know, Montpelier is one of these teams, they're coming in thinking we can knock off this 23-1 team and not, hey, it's been a good season, but right there we go again. Again, just, you know, I don't want to say it's senior jitters or anything, but, you know, part of that plays into it sometimes where you've got high expectations. You're expecting a deep tournament run, and right now Montpelier doing all they can to end your season.
Back to within 3. Under 20 seconds left to go, third quarter. And it looks like they will work for the final shot. Kind of moving east-west. Hopper fades away, throws up a prayer, no good. Mannon with it. 8 seconds. Will they get a look at it? Down the far side. Will they get a shot off? It will. In and out. Kraft, was she fouled on the way up? Do we have another whistle just before the buzzer? And it looks like we may.
Boy, another huge break at the end of the quarter for the Pilots. But again, I thought Montpelier had opportunities to try to slow that down and not let them go coast to coast. And now Taylor Kraft trying to get some points here with no time on the clock.
Here's where I would say, Scoop, you get 10 seconds, even though nobody's on the lane with 1 10-second left.
Well, there's no time. They put a tenth of a second up to get the red light off around the
take your time
backboard.
here. Take your time. And she couldn't hit either. Yeah. So, no change in our score. 26-23. Anybody's ball game as the final 8 minutes put up on the scoreboard clock. Somebody's season will continue. Stick around to find out who. First Insurance Group timeout. You're watching DCTV Sports. There you get a good look at the student section for Ayersville, and that's primarily the boys basketball team coming out to support their schoolmates. 26-23. Second seeded Ayersville leading Montpelier. The winner advances to Saturday's district final. Let's go ahead and give you a quick look at your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. Let's go ahead and start for the Pilots. Nobody in double figures. Allie Schindler with 7. 4 points apiece for Kirsten Manick, Kendron Waldron. 7 points off the bench for Lainey Sheets. 3 points for senior center Taylor Kraft, and 2 points for Ariel Brown off the bench. As this one is banked in. Is that 2 or 3?
That's Hilliard that time with a nice runner with the left hand. Great soft touch off the window. Fantastic start to the fourth quarter for the Locomotives.
Nice feed. Waldron, though, has it deflected from behind, and we have a jump ball called. Let's round out the scoring for the Locomotives. Kelsey Bum, she's held below her average right now, but she is starting to heat up, including a couple of free throws. She's got 6. Aaliyah Hilliard with 6. Mira McGee with 8. Then off the bench, 3 for Lila Mann and 2 for Jada Uribes. And again, here they come. Locomotives with a chance to retake the lead. Bell McGuire, well, you can tell Locos fans wanted a foul there.
Yeah, Mike Bum just kind of put his head down, walked in the bench. I've been seeing that, and they're letting it go. So,
but they have been all game.
Yeah, so I got to control the controllables. I can't worry about that. You know, we've told our kids they got to play strong, and they're doing that.
Bounce pass, low blocks. That's a give and go. Late whistle. We're going to have a foul.
And once again, that's Aaliyah Hilliard, the junior, taking it right in there. against Taylor Craft. But again, that nice, soft, left-handed touch there going to her left. And now she'll get a chance to knot things up here.
She cannot.
Southpaw cannot deliver on the first of two.
Even more important there, Scoop, that's Taylor Craft's third to open up the fourth and final quarter.
Yeah, and I still wouldn't get overly concerned with fouls, just the fact that you have to really do a lot to get a foul in this game. But, you know, I think both coaches probably prefer it that way. And that time a missed opportunity for the Locomotives.
She missed both. And Waldron will check in for Mannon. Well,
turnovers in that third quarter. Ayersville turned it over 4 times to Montpelier's 2. Montpelier's came back-to-back possessions that led us some points.
Oh, well, add another one. Oh, wow, out of nowhere, Schindler takes it right back. I'm not sure if you'll call that a first 3 of the game, and this is going to be airmailed by Waldron.
Well, again, I think that's the poison that Coach Mike Bum wants to pick. You know, force these guys over the top, but then everybody has to get to the defensive glass. Long shots typically mean long rebounds. And now Montpelier with another opportunity to retake the lead.
Boy, very physical. Look at Laney Sheets staying right in the jersey of Mahan. Kicking it to the far corner. Bum in between the circles. McGuire on her. Is anybody going to switch on the screen? She'll instead cut over the top of it. Nobody even posting up right now. They're basically running 5 out. What are you looking for in this type of offense if you're Montpelier?
Well, I think they're looking to get a one-on-one opportunity to go to the rack, either maybe Uribe's or Bum. And, of course, you can't negate Hilliard, who's been awfully effective going to her left.
Tell you what, when Montpelier sets a screen, I'm watching the Ayersville players bounce off of them. They mean it. Hopper drives. They kick it right back to her in the corner, and right now they're just content to just kind of work the ball east-west.
I like this possession. You know, you're just looking for maybe a breakdown here by Ayersville. Get that one-on-one or that isolation you want, and then take advantage.
Oh, McGuire went for a steal. She missed, but Bum just kind of tacitly attacked. Now it's a loose ball, and are we going to have a foul? We're going to have a timeout. Wow, that was heads up by Mike Bum to sprint to the end of the bench and call a timeout. That was almost 2 minutes of just east-west basketball. We'll keep it here with 5:18 left to go in the contest. What do you have for turnovers and board work?
Well, on the night, Montpelier has turned the basketball over 12 times, 10 of those coming in the first half. Meanwhile, Ayersville has turned the ball over 13 times.
Wow.
5 of those here in the second half, 4 in that third quarter, 1 already here in the fourth quarter. Rebounding-wise, coming into this fourth quarter, Ayersville just a +1. I thought that's an area that Ayersville could really maybe make some hay in tonight and exploit, but credit Montpelier. These girls have scrapped and contested everything at both ends. This is the reason we've got a great ball game here with just 5 and some change to go.
There's a light version of your Mark Moats Forward stats summary. 5:18 left to go. Plenty of time in just a 1-point game. We want to remind you, if you can't make it to the game, you can certainly watch it at Moncho's Lounge, 2 roundabouts away from the high school. Tacos Al Pastor, thumbs up. Absolutely incredible, as was the chips and salsa tonight. Our thanks going out to Moncho's Lounge. 5:15, the ball is inbounded. They're going to go right down to the low blocks, kick it back out, and that is airmailed. Loose ball on the weak side. Oh, what a save. The ponytails are covering numbers, but I believe that was Hilliard.
That was Hilliard. That was a tremendous play because you don't just want to toss it to half court and risk a run out, but great communication. Her teammates saying, I've got you, I've got you. She saves it. Boy, that's big. Right now, as we know, every possession is big as we hit the 5-minute mark of this game.
Trying to retake the lead. That ball is deflected by Waldron. Saved just before half court. Boy, look at that. Nice job by Brown to get in low defensive position. On the drive, stopping and popping, almost banking in a 15-footer. Man, they are flying everywhere. No blood, no foul. From her rear end, the outlet. Schindler, Waldron wide open, and she will not drive. Cross-court pass. Sheets tracks it down. Slow it down. Nice secondary break by Kraft, who goes hard to the square. Give her second basket of the night.
Tremendous hustle by the Pilots. Again, kind of a hot potato, but once Schindler got the ball, Kraft makes a rim run. Schindler rewards her. Boy, that's a big deuce. It gets this lead up to 3.
Not quite halfway through the fourth and final quarter, and a travel, another forced turnover. Waldron on the ball.
Well, you know, that's where this game is going to be all said and done, is on the defensive end. And right now, even though both these teams going on fumes, they're giving everything they got. That was a tremendous defensive stop there, a forced turnover. And now Ayersville would love to make this a 2-possession ball game.
Sheets crosses the timeline. Kraft looking down low, Schindler trying to post up. Boy, she is banging away with Hopper in the blocks. On the drive, Sheets, the lefty goes in, finishes with the finger roll. Give her 9.
What a move by Sheets. Again, that left hand can be so deceptive, but great take there, great finish off the window.
On the drive, wraparound pass, Hopper setting up nice, and that was just a beautiful feed. I think that was from Hilliard.
Yeah, that's just a big-time play. Hilliard drops a dime there.
Kraft down the middle of the paint, and she'll have to earn them from the free throw line.
Well, I don't mind that foul at all, because when Taylor Kraft is in the paint, ball in her hands, good luck trying to stop her. She's just too athletic, too lengthy, but she has had some issues at the charity stripe, so I think you have to make them earn every point. And right now, Kraft with a pair, trying to stretch the lead out. First one, true and through.
She is 2 for 5 tonight. She's just over 50% on the season. Another big one coming here. Low line drive. It just clears the iron.
Boy, that's a line drive, but it draws nothing but twine. So big answer there by Kraft. Gets the lead back to 5 once again.
Oh, Brown went for the steal, came up a little empty, and gets it from behind. Wow. Sheets will slow it down as she walks it across half court. 3 minutes left to go in the ball game. We've officially hit crunch time. Sheets, little high, slows it down. Dangerous pass. Waldron, and they'll calm it down and slow it down. Sheets, again the lefty. She's going to come off a Kraft screen. They switch. They tried the pick and roll. It's deflected. Sheets dropped the ball down low, and it's ripped away by McGee.
Tremendous play by McGee in crunch time.
Bounce pass to the baseline. Hopper will kick it back out. Long
three.
Got it! A Premier Bank 3 by Mira McGee.
What a clutch shot by the senior, stepping up in crunch time. Gets the lead down to 2. That makes it a little bit tougher at the offensive
Waldron
end.
answers with another at the other end.
What a gutsy shot. You know, she just airballed one not a long time ago. That time, no hesitation. Caught and shot it in rhythm.
Short memory.
Wow, that's a dagger there for the Locomotives.
Oh, nice feed down low, and Schindler thought she had a clean block on Uribes. Instead, that will be her third.
Yeah, that time a breakdown by the Ayersville defense. You just cannot allow the Locomotives to get that ball down there on the low post, especially to Uribes, who's one of the top players here in Northwest Ohio, and there she connects on the first of 2.
74% from the stripe this season. It's almost all but guaranteed.
Well, she's been their leading free throw shooter, her and Kelsey Bum all season long, and that
got
one's
them both.
string music again. So once again, we got a 1-possession game under the 2-minute mark. Both teams still have fouls to give. In fact, Montpelier has 3 more fouls to give, as they've only committed 1 here.
Nice job there to keep her dribble and finds Sheets all alone down low, and she missed the bunny. She saves it. Now you should be in no rush here, and that was an ill-advised pass down low.
Yeah, right now the clock's your friend, and they got a kind of an extra break there with that hustle play, but they turn it right over.
Bum, can she tie it? Off the heel of the iron, and Kraft cleans up underneath. Uh-oh. Brown hit the deck, and I think the officials saw it. And we're going to have an officials timeout, or we're going to have a timeout being awarded to Ayersville. 1:19 left to go in the ball game. Ayersville 35, Montpelier 32. We will keep it here. All right, so normally coming out of a timeout, Coach Tim Nicely is a master at setting up an inbounds play or at least something off a set to get the right player the look he wants. In this situation, are you looking to be that aggressive, or do you want to get the ball in bounds and force Montpelier to try and foul you?
Well, you don't want to just take any first shot you see, but the way Ayersville's handled the ball tonight, Brent, I don't think you want to stand out there and go east and west 35 feet from the basket. So I think you try to go high-low. You try to get the ball into Schindler or Kraft and let them kind of do their thing inside. But, again, this is the position you want to be in. You know, this is the team that on the season from the free throw line has only shot 56%, but down the stretch those numbers have gotten a little better. We've seen a lot of confidence out here tonight.
Clearly you know who you want to have the ball in this situation. It's Allie Schindler at 74%. Now, she'll also probably draw a crowd, though, correct?
Well, she will. And remember, Montpelier still has 3 fouls to give, so they're going to come out aggressive, try to get some quick steals. But if you're Montpelier, you can't give up the layup inside. You really have to force Ayersville to earn every point here on out.
Waldron across the timeline, picked up her dribble, but luckily gets rid of it. Schindler can use hers if she wants to. Crosses over, and right now they are just trying to spread the floor out. But look at that in-your-jersey defense by Hopper. Kraft comes out to help. Here comes Schindler. Bounce past a man and hit from behind, no call. It will be out of bounds, and Tim Nicely can't believe it. He wanted a foul, and he's giving it to the official.
Great hustle play by Hilliard that time. Pilots had numbers. They
That's
did the right
a forced
thing.
smile by Tim Nicely if I've ever seen one.
Again, they've let that go all night. I don't have any problem with that being a no call.
Waldron at the top of the key. Again, they don't have to be in any rush here, and now they're going to come up and foul, but they still got a couple more they got to give.
Yeah, Montpelier, you got to be careful, you're Montpelier. You don't want too much time to unwind. Remember, they still got to commit 3 more fouls before Ayersville's going to be shooting. So try to get that quick steal, try to get that double team. But if not, you've got to commit fouls. And then, once it's a penalty, then you want to try to avoid fouling a Schindler. You'd rather take your chances at somebody shooting around the 50% mark or less.
Only 2. I take that back. Waldron is a perfect 4 for 4 as the lob pass comes to Waldron. That's not over and back. I know that Montpelier fans are screaming. Neither court was established with the basketball. And now here's another quick foul.
No, it was not over and back, but it was awfully close. You know, that's probably a pass you really don't want to make in that situation because I've seen officials miss that call.
True.
And it ends up being a turnover. So Montpelier has to play great defense, but Ayersville's got to really play smart here.
Boy, another dangerous pass, but they've got who they want with the basketball, and yet Schindler is stripped. It will remain pilot possession. But Montpelier is going to make this difficult for the next 39 seconds.
Now, we said we would never get to the penalty. We are here just because Montpelier is going to continue to try to force fouls. Another tough pass.
And that's another foul. And now you just got to be boss with the ball if you're Ayersville because you know Montpelier is going to be physical.
Yeah, and Schindler has to be careful because when you throw your elbow like that in high school basketball, that's an automatic offensive foul whether you make contact or not. So play strong with it, protect it, know the contact's coming. You want the ball in your hands.
Look at them. They're jockeying right now. They're beating on each other. And are we going to have over and back? We're going to have a timeout. We're going to have a foul. Boy, that was close. Riding the thin wire again. And now they've done what they wanted to, and that's put them in the bonus. Kendra Waldron, 4 or 46%?
48% coming in,
wow.
But throw that out the window.
She's 4 for 4 tonight.
Pretty good here tonight. Looking to go 5 for 5.
And can't quite get the range there. Can she make it 1 for 2? If she can, that will make it a 2-possession game. Second is up. She does.
Well, that's big. Making it 2-possession puts a little bit more pressure here on the Locomotives. Bum on the attack here off the dribble.
That's great defense by Sheets. The wraparound pass, they go right back to Bum, who will drive baseline. Airmails it. Hopper in midair with the putback. Madeline Hopper, with 23 and 1/10 seconds left, has pulled the Locos back to within a pair. Well, right now, Scoop, there's no secret if you're Ayersville what you should expect. Full court, very physical pressure.
Well, no doubt about it. If you're Montpelier, you still have time as far as who you want to pick the foul. I think you really have to avoid putting Schindler at the line, a proven scorer. She leads the team not only in free throw percentage, but free throw attempts. So I think you try to find a hack-a-shack that you feel you've got a chance. At best, you want them to split the pair where it's still just a one-possession game.
I'm looking at the Ayersville huddle to see who will come out for the 5 in the final 23 seconds. The 2 best free throw shooters for the Pilots, we talked about Schindler at 74%. Kirsten Manning is the next best free throw shooter at 71%. Scoop after that, none of the starters are above 50. I'm looking to see if Sheets is on the floor. Manning is out as well. Sheets is a 56% free throw shooter.
Yeah, and I'm more than good as having, Waldron at the line, too. She stepped up here tonight, 5 for 6 now. But full court pressure, as you would expect here, with just 23.1 to go.
Manning inbounds, and it's deflected out of bounds. All right, Scoop, here's the deal, too. You've got it. Oh, no! They're going to say out of bounds off of Laney Sheets. They're going to change the call. They're going to change the call. The officials got together, Abby Moore and Jeremy Teegee, and changed the call. But you got to come meet the pass here if you are Ayersville.
You do, and right now you've got a spot out of bounds. You've got to be careful.
Baseball release. Here comes Waldron. Nobody in front of her. Goes up, and she's fouled from behind.
A great hustle play that time by the Locomotives. Typically, that's going to be an uncontested layup. And when you try to make a stop, you've got to make sure that's not an intentional foul.
Yep.
And they went for the ball, so that's a good call. And now it's going to force the Pilots. And Kendra Walden, just 48% on the season coming in.
Ice water in her
in the
veins. She drains her first. It's back up to a 2-possession lead, and Mike Bum's going to try and ice her. He'll call timeout with 18 and 1/10 seconds left. All right, not just to try and ice Kendra Waldron here, but you're also setting up what you need to do offensively, because you know you're going to need 2 possessions. So what's your strategy here if you're Coach Bum in Montpelier?
Well, that was her last time out, so you have to have a couple things established. First of all, she makes it or misses it, we've got to get up in transition. Now, she makes it a 2-possession game, so you dribble drive to the rack. You got to score right away, because Ayersville is going to be in no hurry to inbound the basketball. If she misses, now you can come down, you can set up for a 1-possession 3, try to get the ball to Uribes or Bum, 2 very good shooters from deep that have had limited opportunities tonight due to this pesky Pilot defense.
The question is, will it be a 3 or a 4-point advantage? The sophomore, Kendra Waldron, who was 4 for 4 from the stripe in the first half. She is 2 for 3 so far in the second half, but none bigger than this one.
Well, I like what Coach Bum did. A lot of people are going to question why burn your last time out, but I think you had to ice Kendra Walden, who really has that look at her eye. She's, 6 for 7 on the night.
She releases. Got it! Biggest free throw of her young career. It's a 2-possession game. Here comes Bum to the far side. They got a hustle on the drive. Kraft with the block. 10 seconds. Montpelier's got a foul. Here comes Schindler. And they foul her from behind with 6.5 seconds left. The sophomore with the free throw, the senior with the block. And can the leading scorer put this one away?
Well, we talked about this game would be won by defense, and that time just another stellar defensive play. As Kraft came up the block, and now Schindler trying to really soak it away here at the line. That one's going to be short.
Maybe a little nerves.
But I like how Ayersville right now, it has people on the line. You have a foul to give, so you want to try to get this offensive rebound if there's one to be had.
Second on the way. Can Schindler ice it? She does. 39-34. If you're Ayersville, just don't foul right now. Bum from about 26 feet out. Got it! Now the buzzer sounds, but there's got to be time put back on the clock, doesn't there?
No, they had no timeout.
Oh, that's
so
true.
Going to be
he
game,
couldn't call
set,
it, so
match.
that is it. 39-37. Ayersville hangs on. 24 wins against 1 loss, and they will head to the district finals Saturday afternoon against Crestview.
Wow, this was a hard-earned game. You knew it would be. Montpelier, a team we talked about playing their best basketball, riding a 5-game winning streak, get to this district semi. But Ayersville, as we've seen so many times, they find a way to get it done. And wow, they had to play the distance, but they now have the right to move on to take on the Crestview Knights. Again, one more step on that road to Dayton.
I'm not sure if it's a smile of exhaustion or a smile of relief by Coach Tim Nicely. He said he will come up and join us, but we're going to give him a chance to talk to his team. 39-37. They didn't quite get to 40, but it was still enough as the Pilots earn the right to play one more ball game. We're going to take a quick timeout. We are back with our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show right after this on DCTV Sports. Back at the Dog Pound, it was exactly how we thought it would play out. Low scoring, defensive oriented, and it was still a barn burner. Free throws in the closing minutes, and in particular from the sophomore, just Kendra Waldron at 48% on the season. Scoop, she was 4 for 4 in the first half. She was 3 for 4 in the second half. Mark it up for 7 for 8. But I've always heard the old phrase, and coaches will say, they mean a little more with the game on the line, and the sophomore had ice water in her veins.
Well, she really did. And remember, if she shoots her average at 4 for 8, Montpelier right now is walking off with a 1-point win.
Yep.
So everything tonight was earned. I mean, both these teams just really got into each other. They did all they could to take that next step. But Ayersville, once again, finds a way to survive. And that's all that really matters at this point. You know, there's no style points. No, you'd rather have an ugly win than a pretty loss at this juncture, any time for that matter.
But this is how Ayersville's been winning all season. They just break you down defensively, and the next thing you know, where did this one slip away? It slipped away over the course of 16 minutes in the second half.
Well, it did. They're just so athletic. They're so hard to match up with for 32 minutes. And credit Montpelier. I thought they had a tremendous game plan coming in. They went out and executed it. They did some great things, but that Ayersville defense, just a little bit too much. You know, you expect Kelsey Bum, the skills she has, that she's going to be that person that's going to get you 10, 15, 17 points every night, and she had to earn everything. She was spectacular, but again, Ayersville were just kind of limited her shots, forced them to force somebody else to beat them, and wow. And they, again, they did all they could. Either team would have been a deserving winner tonight.
Absolutely.
This was just a great game to watch here at the Dog Pound.
Well, in the first meeting this season, Ayersville held Bum to just 4 points. She averages 12. Tonight, they held her to 6. She never got close to her average, and again, that's just the way Ayersville does it. Credit Mabel McGuire credit Allie Schindler, really credit everybody in a white jersey tonight. They switched on, I think, 1 through 4, I think it was. She just had a hand in her face all night long.
Yeah, they did a great job. And when, as you mentioned, when they were able to screen off, or there was always somebody there to pick up the slack. So many defenders did a great job of lockdown, locking in. And then Kelsey Bum realized she's going to see a lot of attention. So credit to her. She didn't try to go out there and force shots, do too much. She found her teammates. She found a way to be that screener, to free people up. She did a great job of getting to the glass. But again, just a great matchup here. And I think Saturday is going to be even better.
Oh, absolutely. Our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show continues as your Mark Moats Ford stat summary. I've got points and fouls. Scoop has turnovers and rebounds. Let's start with points. And ironically, the leading scorer tonight is a role player for the Locomotives, Mira McGee, with 11 points this evening. Nobody else in double figures, though, for the Locomotives. A couple with half a dozen, Kelsey Bum and Aaliyah Hilliard. 4 points for starting center Madeline Hopper. 4 points for Jada Uribes, and 3 for Lila Mahan off the bench. On the flip side, just a little bit more balance for the Pilots. 10 points from Kendra Waldron. As a matter of fact, I'm looking down here, 7 of those coming from the charity stripe, where she was 3 for 4, under 2 minutes left to go in regulation. 8 points for Allie Schindler. 7 for Taylor Kraft, who arguably had the biggest block of the game in the closing minutes. 9 points off the bench for the spark plug, Lainey Sheets. 4 points for Kirsten Mannon, and Ariel Brown with a deuce off the bench. What did you have for board work and turnovers?
Well, turnover-wise, Montpelier turned it over 14 times on the night, led to 12 points for Ayersville. I thought that was huge. But on the flip side, Ayersville turned it over 15 times, led to 12 points for Montpelier. Wow. So as good as the defenses were, remember, most of the points tonight were scored by the defense as well. So just a kind of one of those rock and sock 'em knockout games tonight. On the glass, I unofficially had Ayersville out-rebounding Montpelier by 1. So I think that's a number that Coach Bum certainly was going to live with coming in today. That was a huge concern. But that one-board differential in a game like this probably could be the difference, obviously.
Well, in a one-possession game, you could say a number of things were the difference, and that's usually the case in any game. You can look back and say a handful of plays here, or a key situation where you didn't connect or execute there. 39-37, all you got to do is score one more point in a one-game season, and Ayersville did just that. As there you see a very joyous Kendra Waldron sprinting to the near tunnel here. I'm not sure if she is going to get a few pictures taken. Why not?
And how about that 3 she had there? How much confidence at such a crunch
time. She took 2 tonight. She airmailed 1, and she drained another. Short memory.
Yeah, the only 3 of the night for the Pilots, but I don't think that really could have came at a better time. Wow. If there was one dagger tonight that Montpelier can overcome, it might have been that 3 ball from deep there from Waldron.
39-37. We're going to take a quick timeout, a First Insurance Group timeout. Our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show continues. We'll also have our Steichman Automotive Player of the Game. Don't you go anywhere. We're back with more right after this on DCTV Sports. Well, we welcome you back to the Dog Pound as the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show continues. Coach Nicely working his way down press row. We anticipate him joining us here in just a couple of minutes as he will break down a big Ayersville victory, 39-37. They got a push from an incredibly game Montpelier squad, but in the end, great free throw shooting. As a matter of fact, 2, 4, 6, 8. They were 6 of 8 from the charity stripe in crunch time. And anytime you talk about why do we shoot these free throws so late in practice, how many times does Coach have to say 1 to tie, 2 to win? This is why, Scoop. You never know when you're going to find yourself in this situation.
You're exactly right. And those free throws that really have the most pressure are the ones in crunch time in the fourth quarter when you're probably dripping with sweat, you're tired as can be, you have no legs. But, wow, they were not phased tonight. I thought those free throws were huge, and as we noted, they needed every one of them.
Step up a little closer so we can get you on some FaceTime there, Coach. That camera down there is – oh, look at this one. This man right deserves a rack focus. Wave to the fans at home wherever they may be. 39-37. Coach, we're sitting here. We were talking about it. Let's just start with what we were finishing up on, free throws. Put your mic up just a little bit there in front of you. Now we can hear you. I'm going to bring it down for you if that's okay.
Yep.
There you go. 6 out of 8 from the 3-minute mark in the fourth quarter. And how about Kendra Waldron? 48% on the season, a sophomore. Ice water in that kid's veins.
Well, I told her, I said, look for that 3, and then she had a wide open 3, and then she missed it by about 2 foot. And then give her credit, she went right back to about the same spot and then buried it. So that was
short
huge.
Memory, right?
Yes. Yeah, I told her just have confidence in our free throws. We just focused a little bit, and we had to have every one of them to win that game.
You had to have everybody's performance tonight.
Yes.
He's a little raspy, Scoop.
Yes.
Think he did a little coaching on the sidelines. Credit Montpelier tonight. They came out and were incredibly physical.
Yeah, we battled them at our place, and it was a 12-point game, but it was one of those, I don't know, you want to call it ragtag games or something. It was just everybody was on the floor, deflecting passes, turnovers, and it was the same thing, same thing tonight, and it's sort of a turnover, or same game as again like Edgerton. And we better be ready to play Friday night or Saturday night against Crestview, I know that.
Well, Coach, we've talked about your defense all year, but you guys did a phenomenal job shutting down Jada, Uribe's, and Kelsey Bum. They just did not really get a chance to get any separation, get comfortable out there. Mm-hmm. What was so effective for you guys to really try to limit those two phenomenal players for Locomotives?
Well, we told them first time we watched them on film and saw them in person, and those two make that team go. And we got to guard Bum and Uribe's and not let them go crazy on us. And we did another great job tonight on those two, and some other girls stepped up for them. And, like for us, you got to have other players other than one or two to make big baskets, and, both teams came through at the end. So,
speaking of consistently coming off the bench and producing, I think we're going to nickname her the spark plug, but Lainey Sheets tonight,
yes.
When you needed a calm head, when you needed some physical play, when you needed somebody to be aggressive and attack the basket, she answered.
Yeah, she's got a little edge. Her sister played last year, Neva, and a little quieter, but Lainey's got that little edge on her, where she likes to get after you a little bit, and she's a lot more physical, and she'll go to the basket hard, and she's playing great as a sophomore, so I can't be any happier for her.
Well, Coach, the road doesn't get any easier, as you know, and you wouldn't expect it to when you get to the district tournament and beyond. But tell us a little bit about Crestview. Obviously, this is a team that's been proven in the tournament over the years. Very gifted team, but it's one I think you guys got to feel you're going to match up with as well.
Well, I think we can match up. Last year they beat us by 8, but then they got the big girl back, came back from not playing last year. And of course, we have Taylor too, so I'm hoping it'll be an even match. So we'll just have to come to play because they're pretty darn good.
Well, the seeds have played out here. You have basically you've earned this.
Yeah.
And I know in one of our earlier, probably about 3 rounds ago, player profiles, again, Allie used the phrase unfinished business. Yeah. You've got about a 48-hour turnaround here. What's the approach to make sure everybody stays locked in, and you also take care of the scout as best you can?
Well, we're going to watch film tomorrow. We're going to practice for an hour and a half and then watch film. We got to see him tonight in person, so that's going to help. But, yeah, the atmosphere is going to be great, and we just got to bring our A game and and hopefully we make one more free throw and they do at the end.
All you got to do, we were talking about it before you came up here. You don't get style points. All you got to do is win, and any way you do it is acceptable.
Absolutely,
this time of year.
Yeah, we'll take it, whatever we can get.
Coach, congratulations to you. We'll be back here on Saturday.
Thanks. Congrats.
Yep,
Ayersville 39. Thank you, Coach. Ayersville 39, Montpelier 37. We're going to take one more quick timeout. Back with more of the Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. We'll have our Steichman Automotive Player of the Game. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching DCTV Sports. Back at the Dog Pound, we are wrapping up our Brunswick Eye and Contact Lens Center postgame show. Brent Balbinot alongside Scoop Miller. We've got one last piece of unfinished business to take care of. It's our Steichman Automotive Player of the Game. Scoop, in a one-basket victory, literally you could probably throw a dart at the roster and say everybody made a contribution. But the sophomore tonight, Kendra Waldron, finishes with 10 points. She is 7 of 8 from the charity stripe, including 3 of 4 under the 2-minute mark. Couple under 1 minute left to go to help seal this victory. She is so quiet. She is so unassuming. And in a starting lineup where you are playing around 4 other seniors, I don't want to say sometimes she can get lost as an anonymous voice in the chorus because she is a tremendous athlete in her own right, but tonight she shone bright.
She really did. I thought Kendra was phenomenal. She really stepped up as you want your seniors to do, and I thought the seniors did too, no question, but Kendra just did so many things, That 3-ball still is amazing, She just shot an air ball in the fourth quarter, and now Montpelier's making a run. They get it a one-possession game. They've got the crowd into it, and she comes down there, shoots that 3, drains it. Boy, that was a backbreaker. Yeah. And then she had to do it again, getting to the foul line and putting maybe the biggest free throws of this Ayersville season in the hoop there, hitting, I think, 7 for 8 for the game.
Yep,
but
3 of 4 in those
again,
closing minutes.
And she did it both in. Just a tremendous performance once again from Kendra Waldron.
As cool as you like, number 4, as cool as you like. You are our Steichman Automotive Player of the Game. Scoop, appreciate you throwing on the headsets. We're going to be right back here in about 48 hours as we're going to have Crestview and Ayersville, the top 2 seeds in this bracket, have advanced to Saturday. Somebody will survive and advance. We hope that you will join us. Big thank you going out to our crew, again, doing more than yeoman's work tonight. Big thank you going out to our underwriters for helping make our broadcast a possibility. I say it every night as we sign off, folks, but if you like our coverage of area high school sports, we can't do it without the sponsorship of these underwriters. Walk through their businesses' doors, spend a little money, patronize them, and let them know how much you appreciate them helping us bring the area's best high school sports to you. For Scoop Miller, I'm Brent Balbinot, thanking you, the fan, for tuning in. Final score again tonight. Ayersville survives and advances 39-37 over Montpelier. You've been watching a presentation of DCTV Sports.